edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port here on a Monday. It's Barnes, it's Tony, it's Zach. How you fellas doing?
I'm doing phenomenal here. Happy to be back. Obviously in studio, and of course, definitely want to say to everyone this past week, as Michael walks in the studio as well. Laptop bag in hand, the personal bag, Brian.
Personal bag in hand.
But I do want to say, obviously I want to shout out to everyone. Honestly, this weekend is my birthday. I don't know if you guys remember, but I want to thank everyone out there who wished me a good, happy birthday. I had a great birthday weekend. I really couldn't ask for a better time. Family, friends, Chris Russo, the shows, everything was great. Steve Torrey as well. Great guy, by the way.
What a guy.
Everyone was great. Everyone a part of the
Yeah.
So far, honestly, Michael may be signing the Sirius XM contract right now. 6 months in the car.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Mad
dude.
Dog. 3 to 6 dog. 6
Absolutely
to 7
great,
Tori.
dude.
Mark your calendar.
Love to see it, dude. So yeah,
3 to 6.
3 to 6 dog.
Channel 82. Yeah, why would you?
Never again, Michael K. I'm sorry, no offense to him, but
Great interview.
Dude, he's a good guy, good interview, but his show is beat compared to
Not good.
Not good. Come on, Brian.
No,
Yankees aren't playing well.
I don't know how I have
At that
Sirius,
time,
but
but
I
now
got
they
it
are.
all set up. I got 60s, 90s, 2000s, Sinatra, and I forgot the other one, but it's all set up. I got 98.7 just on FM ready to go.
Mad Dog's the other one.
Yeah.
Of course, dude. Great birthday. Let's go. Let's see we going.
Yeah, honestly, what a weekend. I mean, what an honor to meet Dog. Shout out to the Materiellos.
That's my family.
Another outstanding weekend. The food, the camaraderie, Tony, the swimming.
Oh my God, dude.
Unbelievable.
Saturday, Brian, literally
Barbecue?
in the backyard the whole day, dude. Literally 9:30 we went out there, didn't go back inside until 9:30
No
p.m.
way.
No, literally out by the pool the entire day, barbecued, the blow up
You do have a
French
little blow
fries,
to you
dude.
today, Tony.
Yeah, dude, we got some great tan and it's phenomenal, dude. Cigars.
How much of the Yankees comeback win on Saturday did you catch?
0. No, I was following on my phone a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I was keeping track of it, dude. Obviously, yeah, watching the Mets shut out. Tough weekend for there. We'll get into it, I'm sure. And honestly, dude, it's not even that big of a tough weekend because you splitting at one point, Brian, splitting against the Braves was honestly a win. Honestly,
Met
at one point, dude.
justification. Why does this sound familiar? I don't know. Interesting.
You know what, dude? We'll see what happens. You have another a tough series coming up for the Yankees. We'll see how
Nothing
they
is
answer
tough
it.
anymore.
Nothing is tough
Times
anymore.
are tough ahead for your New York Mets.
Oh
though.
my
That is
God!
for sure.
Stop.
But I was saying though, yes, great weekend in Staten Island. Bar A was unbelievable. Shout out to Josh B for coming through, hanging with us, doing the sports report. That was great.
Dude, MVP of the day, honestly.
MVP of the day. Everybody who works at Bar A getting us what we need. Shout out them.
Yes.
That was awesome. And then Dog, Steve Torrey, Mike Babchick. Just what an unbelievable experience. Great interviews. And I always say this, when you have these people that are, more well-known, the fact that they give you the time of day, it's just you can't appreciate it anymore, honestly.
Yeah, dude. I was telling Zach too before, when we were setting up today, we were trying to get Russo. We saw him, and in typical talent fashion, shows at 3:00. He shows up at 2:30, and he's like smoozing people, whatever. And you're like, oh man, do we get him now? Should we wait till afterwards? And again, he's like, oh, I gotta go, whatever. Kind of gotta settle in, understandable. And then it's like 2:45, and you're like, oh man, we're gonna probably have to wait till after the show, which is fine. But then I know where. All right, let's do it. Ready, go. Yep.
Let's get over.
Let's go.
Sound. What do you do?
What do you want me? What do you want me? You want me over here? All right, let's go. And I'm like, just totally professional. Obviously, knows how to work the camera, whatever,
Yes.
dude. So it was a great interview, absolutely hilarious. I had a chance to let him know too. MLB Network, High Heat. I used to watch him all the time working.
That's
the
a good
show,
job,
dude.
Tone.
That's
That's what you would say if you called in and said that.
oh my
It's a good
god,
job,
it's a good
Tone.
job, good job.
Good job.
Yeah, so it was just tremendous. The whole event, everyone was great. Like you said, too, the Bar A people are so welcoming and supportive. And I mean, even during the sports report, you saw it, whoever tuned in on Friday during the show.
Yep.
I mean,
The chips.
Pat was in there. Yeah, we had some of the vendors come up to us as
Jaden
well.
Daniels,
Dude.
Artie from Brooklyn, right?
Oh yes, Artie from Brooklyn. It was a great time, dude. It really was. You can tell they enjoyed it just as much as we did.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just crazy. We were talking about this, Friday night after the show. Like it almost like didn't even seem real. The fact interviewing Dog right next to him, asking him about the golf, talking about how 83 the career low, Wingfoot East,
East. That's East.
But literally exactly how you expected with him. And I was surprised though. He just he didn't kill Cashman. He just said, "Wow, 25 years, it's a long time. You want to get him out of there?"
Yeah. Well, I think maybe at this point, maybe he's even tired of hearing himself, if you could believe it.
But I do think it's a thing for people that are especially involved with baseball. They don't want to rip anybody too much because they never know when they're going to need to interview a spot with them. I think that's the biggest thing.
I was just going to say that too. And then that is kind of, it makes things kind of, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, BS basically. But Dog, obviously, we'll give him a pass on that.
Yeah, you got it.
But I think deep down he knows it's time. He knows it's time for Cash.
And I feel like maybe if he's on the way out of the Yankees organization, then maybe he'll really
kind of lean into it.
Plus, I also would think too with someone like with Dog. I mean, you would imagine he's just like his show's big enough that kind of no matter what he says, like he'll probably still get interviews, right? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he's just being cautious.
Yeah.
Maybe if he was in Gummy Land, he would have said something more.
You think he had one? Maybe.
No,
definitely not.
Drive, whole family there, that type of thing.
It's actually funny when we first were talking to him, he had a drink in his hand, and I don't know if you noticed this, but he kept trying to get the straw, and he couldn't really quite get it.
Oh, I wasn't.
For a second, he was like kind of doing like one of these, getting to the straw, and I was like, oh man, like
that is so funny.
As he had a couple.
And then Steve Torrey was great.
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoyed our interview with him, and then Babchick. Honestly, I mean, that was a surprise for you. You had no idea who he was, Tony, until we had that interview.
No, yeah, literally. I mean, until you mentioned him, I guess obviously last week.
Oh, right.
And I somewhat, recognized him from looking him up there in the show last week. But it was cool that he came up to us. Wanted the interview. You got exchanged some info here. It seems he's pretty stoked, honestly. To I'm sure when he sees the reel out here, dude.
Text, I know he's gonna be so riled.
Does he golf? Do you know?
I think he does. It's so hard. I had to just like I had to ask him the Yankee question. You got to ask him off-show questions because I think on the show it's all he's his shtick, so it's hard to decipher.
Right. His shtick. It is a shtick, but he was definitely a funny guy. I could see why he's entertaining.
Bethany Babchick,
sure.
Marriage of the Year.
The kids. Oh my God.
Joey swinging the bat. Travel baseball. Remember he said that's how you get travel baseball. The hot mom.
The hot mom. Yep. Dude.
Oh,
I had one kid before marriage. All of a sudden I have 3 now. I don't know what happened.
Never were in the honeymoon phase. So much to get to, but let's start with some comments. What do we got here, Zach? Right now.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I'm sure people are riled right now, dude. Josh B better be in that freaking comments, dude. I'm telling you right now.
Matthew Gabriel says, let's go, boys.
Classic.
Brian Barnaby says, Kev Doom, where you at, son? How about those trash
would you look at that, huh? That's a good job there, Brian.
Josh B says, yo, fam, was so awesome hanging Friday. Let's have a week. Hashtag TCA, hashtag Sportsport, hashtag DTV.
Let's
Josh
go.
B,
Josh,
the legend
dude.
himself.
Once again, MVP of the day, dude.
Let's go.
Mary Mattarello says, hi, fellas.
Hi, Mom.
Good morning,
Mattarello. It's all right. It's Mattarello.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll give Zach a pass now.
Absolutely.
I've always had
my entire life, all right? It's been
always,
actually, everyone does say Mattarello or Matariello.
But believe it or not, because I do butcher stuff. First time, got it. One of Never
2 people, dude. One of 2 people that have gotten it.
Ever in my life.
Never butchered any words. All right, what else we got, Zach?
Matthew Gabriel says, Josh. Josh B says, Matty G. And then Josh B says, what a great day.
And interesting, still
no Kev Do?
from Kev Do.
He's probably. You think he's in class or something, dude?
Well, tomorrow he'll comment. After the wounds have healed a little bit for him, but if the Mets lose again, maybe not. Maybe he doesn't comment. So we'll have to see.
How about I want to hear about the softball game on Saturday. I think I saw Dan Grassa there, dude. They've won the first, lost the next two. And again, I wish we were able to get there, dude. I really, last year they got shut out like 30-0 or something like that. And I heard like Shooter called in, or Rick and Dave this morning, or Rick and Dan at that point. And he's like, "Oh, I wish I put you guys." And Rick was like, "Well, you got to win first. Like you got to win to end up playing us."
What's the tough part at softball? Everybody wants to hit, nobody wants to field, including me. I don't want to be out in the field, so that's the problem. I think that's the problem with the softball.
I think honestly, and listen, no offense to the guys in the team right now, but I feel like if we were there, I mean, we're talking like probably sweeping the whole tournament.
I mean, I know I could add with the bat. You want me to be the catcher? I'll be the catcher. I mean, I think that's probably the best spot for me. But yeah.
All right, we got Josh B calling in right now.
Wow.
Let's go. All right, Josh B, stand by 1 second. Going to pass you through to the Bluetooth here. If Zach remembers how to unmute it, I'd be very impressed with him.
What are the chances?
What are the chances? It might be unmuted already. Josh B, are you there? Josh B, you're live on the sports board. Josh B, say something.
What is up, fellas?
Yo, Josh. Not much, dude. Just doing the show. We're just talking about you, dude. I'm sure you heard of the praise that you've gotten so far.
Yep. Appreciate it. Yeah,
what a time,
Friday
Josh
was awesome. Friday was phenomenal. I was telling Michael, I wish we could do it every Friday.
Oh my God.
Are you kidding me?
No, me too, dude. That really was phenomenal. Like I said, you coming in, MVP, helping out on the show. Great job.
The pictures. We got some great shots,
dude.
So
the drinking,
the
dude.
drinking.
What was the name of that iced tea drink, Brian? You remember?
Yeah, I actually just bought some over the weekend. Isn't it Sunrise?
Oh
my God, I said it wrong again.
Cruiser.
I actually didn't buy them over the weekend though.
Dude, they are
Cruiser.
so good. Half and half.
But I got like a variety pack. I have to say, just the half. Let's keep it to the half and half, okay?
Wait, variety pack. Are there other flavors besides?
Yeah, I think it was cranberry and stuff.
See, that's where you get too much, dude. Yeah, you don't need that.
No reason for it.
Stick to the original flavors. Nothing crazy, dude. All right, we don't need freaking whipped cream in my waffles.
Yeah.
But anyway, Josh, what do you got, dude? Saturday softball. What do you got?
Softball. Did you hit a couple out?
Saturday softball. No, I didn't hit any out. I went 2 for 4 with 3 RBI. So not terrible.
What
go ahead.
Now, I was to say, what did you play in the field?
I was everywhere. I was catching. I was at first base. I went to left field. I went to shortstop. I was everywhere.
Wait, but you got only 4 at bats in a couple games?
Yeah, we had 15 people.
Oh, wait. So is there no limit on the lineup or no?
No limit on the lineup. You play 10 in the field.
Okay, gotcha. So 5 extra hitters. Wow.
Yeah, and it was good, because I'll tell you right now, I'm still feeling the aftermath of playing softball at the age of 41. I'll tell you that.
Wow.
And I heard won the first one, lost the next 2. The next 2, I mean, what happened out there? Just a tough time, or?
I think we might have gotten a little too high horsed after winning the first game, 14-3.
Classic.
And then people put a little pressure on themselves. Everybody wants to hit home runs. And,
see, that's the problem.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
The first team we played wasn't as good, and then the next 2 teams we played were better. And
did fielding rear its ugly head at all?
No, I mean a few here and there, but nothing crazy.
Wow, because I noticed that's usually the problem with people who don't play softball a lot. Mm-hmm. Like I would notice, like the field, it's just so tough to be like not making any errors or anything.
And that was our issue last year. When it was bad last year. So much more improved this year. We scored 1 run last year.
Wow. That is something.
We put up 14 the first game. Much better fielding. People know how to field the position. It was good.
That's good, dude. I'm glad you guys did okay. How many teams are a part of this?
There were only 4 this year.
Only 4.
How many have there been in the past?
Last year there was like 6 or 7.
Oh,
6 or 7. Interesting, dude.
Yeah, something happened with I was talking to the guy that normally runs it. He had some issues going on personally, so he couldn't really promote it. But the team that did win is the team that used to, when they were kids, played for the guy Mark Sasso, baseball, when they were kids, 9U, 10U, 11U.
Oh, okay.
So they've had this softball team for a while. So they're going to take over, putting it together and getting more teams. And they'll get a lot more teams in next year.
That's pretty neat, dude. And then obviously, like, ESPN has their team, right?
Yep, and that's who you play in the finals. You play the tournament to play that team in the final.
Oh, wait, so are they auto in the final sort of deal?
Always, yeah, of course. If they're not in the finals, then what's the point of being there? So yeah, they're automatically in the final.
Yeah, that's kind of tough too that they're auto in the final. But I mean, I was just thinking that myself that we should get our own team together. I feel like we have enough interns involved. We can get, forget it, dude. It'd be like 50-0 every
but the
game.
thing is, Riley, the morning of the game will have some like excuse to why
he'll just not show up, dude.
Yeah. He'll say he's ready.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Maybe we'll have to like poach Josh too from the other team. You know, maybe we should poach Josh. He's laughing.
No, man, that would be awesome. I mean, why not? You guys should bring in a team.
Yeah, dude. Also, Josh,
but I'm sure.
I was going to ask, how was the Chinese food on Friday?
Oh, it was phenomenal.
He said he would.
Not better than homemade lasagna.
No, yeah, of course. The lasagna. Oh my god, the salad, the garlic bread, dude, so good.
Just like the Saturday barbecue was better than the softball game, I'm sure.
Oh, Josh, we had a great time with us. I was just telling Brian all day in the backyard. Didn't stop, dude. Drinking, cigars, the barbecue, the floats. Oh. Michael fell asleep on the float in the pool, dude. Literally.
That's hilarious.
Oh my god.
Basketball.
We set up the volleyball net too. Oh my god, dude.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was great. I was jumping over the net into the pool. Michael, I was jumping over the net. Yeah, I got you from in the pool. I could do that too if I wanted to. Josh, from the deep end, I jumped out of the pool from the deep end without grabbing onto the ledge. It was sick, dude.
Wait, was that part of like a horse shot?
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Where's the video proof of this?
You know what, dude? There is none. All right, man. You have to be there. All right, you weren't there.
No, that shot you wanted me to do like off the ladder was insane. Like that was a broken jaw waiting to happen, Tony.
You know, I'm surprised at you guys.
Spring yourself off the ladder and dunk it back. Wasn't it a behind? Yeah. Like just I can't do that standing next to the hoop.
All right. You know, if Josh was there, he would have done it. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Attempted it.
Yeah. Josh would have attempted it, but that's all right, dude. Nonetheless, Josh, I'm glad that.
I just wanted to chime in real quick.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm glad that you called, dude. I'm glad you gave us a little recap of the game,
anytime, dude. Josh. Great.
I guess we're not going to be hearing from Kev Dew, so it's nice that you recap.
Do we have a check on Kev Dew? I mean, is it a boiler room? Is he crying? What is it?
I know he's off today. He had a very long weekend.
Oh, a long
Saturday
weekend
was
and not
softball
hitting,
game.
I guess. Okay.
Oh,
how did he do in the softball game?
He did good. He did good. One error.
Tony was questioning his soberness from looking at the picture. That's what he was saying.
No, he only made one error in the field, but every other play he got on base a few times.
Oh, that's good. That's
all right. Good to see him out there.
No, I'm glad Kev Dew can hold up over there, man. That's good.
And then I know on Sunday he was out on a boat all day, so he was shot.
Yeah, so he's still sleeping. Oh wait, before we let you go, real quick though, yay or nay on Jazz Chisholm?
So far, yay, right? I mean,
let's go.
Let's hope he doesn't turn into. Let's hope when he's in the outfield, he's not hitting like Verdugo, and when he's in the infield, he's not hitting like Gleyber Torres and DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah,
you can really hope
it'll
for,
work out quite nicely if that's the case. But that was a nice addition. Hopefully, we're not done. Can't believe the trade deadline's tomorrow, so a lot of stuff will happen between now and then. So let's go.
You and me both. Dude.
Yep. Came up on us quick.
Yeah, absolutely. But thanks again, Josh B. And we will certainly talk to you soon.
All right, fellas. Always a pleasure.
Likewise, dude. Have a great day.
That is Josh B. All right. So, a lot to get to here. So we'll run right through it. First thing, I know there was a lot of hype on this last week. And usually we wouldn't start on the Champions Tour, Tony, but KJ Choi, ice in his veins.
Kind of crazy, dude.
10 under, a major champion for the first time at the ripe old age of 54. What were your thoughts on Choi finishing the deal at Carnoustie?
Obviously, pretty tremendous outing from him, dude. I mean, obviously coming into this, didn't know a ton about the Champions Tour here, let alone a ton about Choi. But nonetheless, seeing him win, I guess watching some of the highlights was really impressive. Learning about his story was pretty cool too. First major here. And again, diving deep into his kind of, Korean tour. I guess, accolades.
Mhm.
You know, the guy is somewhat of a, I guess you could say, groundbreaking golfer from Korea. You know, it's kind of a big deal over there, to be honest.
Right.
So I didn't really realize, I guess, how popular he was. But I mean, you got to be hyped with the pick. You got to be hyped seeing that profile, that little snapshot photo of him at the top of the leaderboard here. You know, back-to-back 69s, round 1 and 2, and then holding it down with back-to-back 70s, winning at 10 under. You know, especially with some of the guys that we've had, which is it's kind of funny looking at this leaderboard. You know, obviously, you know, Harrington, I guess, tied for 5th, great there.
Langer coming off the Achilles, I think that's good. Top 5 at 66, right?
Yeah, and even your boy Cabrera
out of prison, top 5,
still on parole, probably getting the top 5 here. Thomas Bjorn too, I think, was another sleeper. I think we had their top 5 as well.
Yeah.
But you got to be stoked for Choi, dude. I mean, he seemed really stoked too, watching those highlights. Again, you know, a man as stoic as he looks, cracking that smile, definitely celebrating, enjoying that win. You gotta love that dude. And he's I think $500,000 was the top prize, right?
$447,800.
So pretty solid there for a man of his age on the senior tour here. I mean, you got to be stoked, dude. Do you think though, like we're gonna see him maybe win another one? Or
well, I was just gonna say, I wouldn't be surprised if he won a senior major next year, but also we have the treat, and I mentioned this before this tournament started. Given the win, we are going to see him next July, Tony, at Royal Portrush at the Open Championship. So the automatic entry into the Open Championship, and then we'll get to defend his title at the Senior Open the following week next year. So
mark it down right now. He's my sleeper. He's my sleeper right now. Mark it down, dude. I don't even care. 1 year from now. Sleeper.
It'll be good to see. I'm sure Harrington disappointed as well as Langer. But hey, these guys will get, you know, because they include the Players Championship as a major, so they'll get 5 cracks at adding a major next year. But congratulations to KJ Choi. And speaking of congratulations, how about Jhonattan Vegas? His first win, Tony, since the 2017 Canadian Open, a one-shot victory over Max Greiserman. Vegas getting into the winner's circle. I believe now he's inside the playoff field for the top 70 as well. So this was a huge win. Yeah, he's at 67, it looks like. A huge win for Vegas. And this was anchored by a 63 on Saturday to put him into this position. Matt Kuchar was looking to win for the first time in quite some time himself. You know, another grizzled vet here. Vegas is turning 40 later this year. Kuchar, I believe, is 46. He had shot at 63 on Saturday, but unfortunately 71 took him out of the conversation as he finishes tied for 3rd. Is only at 113 in the FedEx Cup standings. So I would imagine in 2 weeks he'd have to win Wyndham in order to qualify for the playoffs, and something that he's done every year of his career. You know, so obviously it's been a disappointing season for him, but as we've seen with these golfers, you know, you get into your early 40s, your mid 40s, it gets tougher. And you never know when you're going to be in that position again. So, ever so close, but, you know, not enough. But always a great story when you think about Vegas. You know, he probably thought, you know, he was never going to win again. And in order, you know, in grabbing this victory, most likely, you know, if he puts on a decent performance at Wyndham, you know, making it to the FedEx St. Jude the following week. Pretty good story, though.
Oh, my God. I think a great story. You know, this guy you mentioned, 2017, you said, right? Canadian Open was his last win. You mentioned the grizzled vet and everything. And I mean, this guy, you know, riding, I guess the success of that round 3 63 with I think was tied for
low round of the day.
Yeah,
Vegas had a 63 and Kuchar and McNeely all on Saturday.
Kind of crazy, dude. Really crazy. And then honestly, I was watching a little bit on Sunday.
Fishburne also had a 63. 4 guys with 63 Saturday. Kind of crazy.
And then, you know, speaking of crazy, Max Greiserman with the 63 on Sunday, dude.
Nobody was touching that.
Literally, nobody was touching that. And it seemed like he was like a bat out of hell. I thought he was trying to kind of, you know, catch Vegas there, but Vegas held on
birdie
with
on
70, which was kind of crazy because that was his weekend low, I think, was his Sunday round. But obviously he set himself up that, you know, for Sunday to be able to hit a 70 and still win. But I really thought Greiserman was going to pull it out. But nonetheless, I mean, Vegas, the grizzled vet, getting that dub, you got to be stoked for him. I think it is kind of crazy, though, looking at, you know, the top 5 I mean, if you even want to go down to the top 10, I guess Sahith Theegala we kind of talked about.
Kitayama's one before.
But other than that, dude, I mean, if like the top 10, it's like no guys we really had on our radar.
No. Tony Finau just outside.
Just outside,
12th.
Yeah, dude.
Sam Burns as well.
I mean, obviously a fun tournament because of that. I do like to see that. Guys we really don't have on our radar ended up in the top 10 being competitive. While other guys, kind of on the outside looking in. Even Gary Woodland, tied for 37th. Kind of thought he'd do a little bit better. But nonetheless, I mean, I think it made for a pretty solid tournament, even though Brian the whole week, not as riled.
Senior Open.
Yearning for the Masters.
But now I'm riled for Troy, but now I am earning for Augusta National, definitely.
Yeah, it's tough, but still, I mean, I thought it was a cool tournament. 3M Open, fun.
I actually am interested. I mean, the Tour Championship just for the course, I guess, will be cool. And then I am interested to see Castle Rock in Colorado for the BMW. I know the BMW Championship has never been held there. I think other PGA Tour events a long time ago. So new course, new environment. I think that'll provide a little juice.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope so, Brian. Okay.
Yeah.
You forgot the Mohegan hat at my house. I feel like you're over golf almost, dude.
No. Just need another good round to set me straight. But it'll be all right. I'll be fine.
So tomorrow you'll be in your Masters green polo.
No, that'll be for Wednesday's preview of the Olympics, Tony. So that kind of snuck up on us.
Wow, dude.
So the Olympic golf
Brian's
tournament.
Interested.
Well, just because there's no PGA Tour this week, that's the substitute event. You have your Scotty Schefflers, your Xander Schauffele's, your Ludwig Auberts playing in that one. So it is stroke play, just like a regular tournament. So no quirks there. A winner wins the gold. So kind of some juice there. Playing in Paris, I guess they had the Ryder Cup there in the past. But will be interesting to see, honestly, because I don't think I watched too much of the 2016 or 2020 Olympic golf competitions.
Definitely not. Have you been watching the Olympics at all recently?
That would be no. The only part of it I saw was when it was put on at your house, I believe. What was that, on Thursday?
Yeah, it must have been it was
or
Friday night.
That
was just the opening ceremony, dude.
Yeah, the opening closing for me at the same time, Tilly.
Yeah, come on. You're not even gonna watch like a little bit of basketball?
No, I told you golf. Well,
just
basketball,
golf.
like if it's close games, sure. But
what about the tennis? You got Nadal and Novak.
Like they have to be close, dude. The basketball is a joke, honestly. I think they gotta figure something else out for that.
Michael sent me. So I think it's the first time that Novak and Nadal are playing since like 2012 or something like that.
In the Olympics.
No, like they're facing each other.
Oh yeah,
since like 2012, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
come
on, dude! The opening start. Tony Parker was carrying the torch.
My God. Olympics is so stupid.
But
dude, the golf
is gonna be sick, dude.
And if basketball there was a close game, maybe it would pique interest a little bit.
We were watching the synchronized diving on Saturday a little bit, dude. Pretty impressive, dude.
Yeah. So, so a week off from the PGA Tour, but like I said, we will talk about that Olympic golf competition on Wednesday. But we got some baseball to talk about. Let's go to the world of Major League Baseball.
It's deep to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols.
Yeah, what a play! Stop it, Tony. Yep. And Alonso cracks one of the Mets win the ball game. Out of sight.
And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeout.
Too deep to left field. There it goes. See ya.
All right. So a great weekend here for the New York Yankees. Didn't start out that way. Heartbreaking loss on Friday. We'll get to. But winning the next two days, the dramatic comeback on Saturday night, and also the Saturday edition of Jazz Chisholm. So the Yankees acquiring the Marlins outfielder, infielder, multi-time All-Star here. And really provides a speed element, a power element, and just kind of an excitement element. I was just kind of curious, they give up 3 minor leaguers. What was your thoughts on the Yankees going out and acquiring Jazz Chisholm?
I mean, those 3 minor leaguers, I don't know a ton about.
So the catcher, Augustine Ramirez, 20-plus home runs this year, plays catcher in first. Not a highly touted prospect. Obviously, Yankees kind of set at catcher. Wells is looking good. Have some other options. So that was kind of like the headliner in this deal.
Well, I was going to say, like, the fact that I really didn't know much about these guys to begin with would kind of tell me that, hey, these are either guys that aren't that great or just the Yankees don't need right now. So I think in terms of what they gave up to get Jazz, I think was a great deal for them. Again, talk about Jazz a little bit here. I've seen him a lot playing for the Marlins. For me, I've seen him, and again, maybe it's just because it's the Marlins too, but I don't know. I wasn't like carried away with how he plays. Again, we talked about he's got the look, he's got the swag, he's got the attitude. Certainly brings things to the table in terms of talent, speed, can flash the glove a little bit. Obviously, has some of the bat, but just the consistency would be my question. And how often he can stay healthy and be in the lineup for the Yankees. But obviously right now he's staying healthy. He is obviously paying dividends right away. We saw the skillfulness, what he could bring to on the bags here, putting himself in scoring position. And then, the Mets getting, I think, a sac fly after he stole third. Right. I'm sure you saw the play where he's got to kind of, shaken up if they're taking second, I think, right?
Well, yeah, what happened is he slid into second
Hit his
and actually,
face?
he got elbowed in the face, stuck in the game, and then took off for third. No one's covering.
Yeah, and again, in an instance like that, I mean, he is speedy. That's what you're using him for. You're definitely going to use him to steal bags, and then again, puts himself on third base, and then ends up getting home off a sac fly RBI. So it's like it's things like that you're seeing from him, where a player is producing runs. In that fashion where the Yankees haven't been doing that, and for the past 2 months, they have been producing runs like that. So I mean, obviously you love to see that. He looks great right now. And hopefully he can stay, you hope he stays healthy and continues this level of play throughout the rest of the season, which, I mean, at this point, I would expect. Again, I think that he's more than riled. I saw his quote about, growing up, being a Yankee fan, loving Derek Jeter. It's every kid's dream to play for the Yankees, sort of deal. Obviously that's what you want to hear for someone who's playing for your team, that, he dreamed to play for this team. And, he comes here, he brings the attitude, he brings the commitment. And I think for someone coming from an organization like Miami, probably a breath of fresh air for him. So you would imagine you would see him to continue to do well and probably improve his game as he plays more games with the Yankees. And also his ability, his willingness to be like, hey, I'll play in the outfield, I'll play in the infield, play wherever you put me. I mean, that's got to be great too.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some talk that he may play third base, and I don't know if that's to cover up, the fact that they're going to trade Gleyber Torres, but something tells me, Tony, and tell me if I'm wrong here, I just have a feeling, they didn't trade him in the offseason, probably didn't like the return. Now the return's even less. If I had to guess, and it wouldn't be my decision, I don't think you're going to trade Gleyber.
Yeah, it's funny. I think Rick and Dan were talking about it. Even Zach and I were like, what are you really going to get for him? Like you said,
a minor leager or a player to be named wouldn't be a bad idea as far as I'm concerned, despite the recent hitting prowess.
Yeah, you're right.
Just because of the errors, luckily the game wasn't close. He booted an easy ground ball in the ninth last night with 2 outs.
I know. I saw that, which is so tough. And I mean, you really don't want to see that, in the playoffs. You don't want to see him doing that really at all ever again for the rest of the season. If it was up to me, I probably would try and get rid of him. Doesn't really matter. Like you said, player to be named later. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, like you said, I mean, like you've been saying, I mean, it seems like the Yankees, whether it's Cashman, the organization as a whole, does seem to want to cling on to Torres.
Yeah.
And yes, the fact that his bat is starting to play a little bit now makes it even worse, because then it gives them even somewhat of a justification for doing so. And honestly, like you said, I mean, if Jazz is playing third, you're probably not going to see Gleyber moved. And I mean, I think obviously there's a multitude of reasons why. I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe just the Yankees think that that's a better fit in terms of who they can bring in, even for someone to play second base or something. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I mean, him going in at third to replace DJ. I mean, don't you think? I mean, that's still great anyway. No.
Oh, it is. It is. I think it's just. I speak for all of us Yankee fans. We just want to see Gleyber gone. I mean, it's just kind of tough to think they're probably going to keep him. Maybe though, Tony. My optimistic take here is like that's kind of their backup plan, but they're hoping to get Jhonattan India. I don't know about Jose Iglesias. I know you're high on that, but somebody like that, just anybody like a contact first defensive guy, maybe a speed guy at second, if he's available. Gleyber the backup. I mean, you have Peraza in the minors as well. But I just think for the well-being of this team, despite his recent hits and success on the offensive side of things, they would be best served with him gone.
Yeah. So do you think regardless then that Jazz is going to be playing third base?
So if Glaber is still on the team, he's going to play in third. I guess they mentioned the Glaber playing third. He kind of like declined or whatever, but it's like, I mean, please decline. I mean, talk about errors at third. Oh my God.
He declined?
That's what they were talking about. Yeah.
That's kind of weird. I mean,
I know.
You would think a guy in Glaber's position would just be like, hey, I'll play wherever you want me to play.
Yeah. Yeah. But, that's just kind of what I heard. Obviously, Jazz played center last night, but I guess they're going to give it a go at third. And we probably will, unless there's a trade pregame tonight, we probably will see Jazz getting the start at third because Stanton will be back tonight. So it's not like, you could put, Glaber at DH or, however you have to do it. But point being, this is going to play out soon. We'll see what happens. One of the trade targets Yankees were thinking about too, like maybe third, they could put Jazz at second, was Isaac Paredes, but he was part of a trade with the Cubs. So he's going to be in Chicago. But Yandy Diaz is still on the market. Pete Fairbanks still on the market. So those are guys, that I would like to see the Yankees go out and get.
And it seems like Tampa Bay is definitely blowing it up a little bit over there, man.
They are. So we'll have to see.
You really like Fairbanks though?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he missed some time with injury earlier this year, but we just need veteran quality, relievers because we'll get to it. But I was talking about this with Matt. And I might even mention it to you. What always made the Yankee bullpen so successful post Mariano Rivera, obviously when he was there, of course, it was going to be a great bullpen, was the fact that you have multiple closers on the team. So, David Robertson, for instance, was the setup guy, or way back, Andrew Miller. Oh, he's the setup guy. He's not the closer. Rafael Soriano, same thing. Point being now, and you had that, but then you also had like great waiver wire pickups, which made it even better. But now you're relying on the waiver wire guys to be the high leverage guys. And I think that's finally kind of catching up to them. And unfortunately, that did rear its ugly head on Friday night because you had Nestor get the start versus Bayo. Nestor doesn't make it out of the fifth inning, gives up 9 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Sure, Tommy Kahnle gave you a scoreless inning, but you had runs given up, a combined 5 runs given up by Hill, by Luke Weaver, by Clay Holmes. And the Hill, Weaver, Holmes, that was all on the heels of Aaron Judge hitting a massive 3-run homer off of Zach Kelly.
Right?
It might have even been 470, to be honest. And it was hit to a spot where they said they had never seen it hit before. But then unfortunately, Luke Weaver serving up, and he's been good.
470.
But the thing is, it seems like in big spots he's giving up homers. That was to Rafaela, and then Abreu and Yoshida, singled in the subsequent 2 runs. Yankees no rally there in the 9th. So that really got this series off to a bad start. Because obviously you felt so good when you took that 7-4 lead, and then to give up 5 runs, and it's interesting because I think he pitched after on Saturday and was fine. But Luke Weaver, he's had a good year, Tony, but I do think it is troubling if we don't add to this bullpen. I don't think going into October he should be the Yankees' top setup guy. And that is what he is right now.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you think about what it was this, and then I think I'm running against Tampa Bay too.
Yeah.
In that loss. Yeah. I mean, I guess, like you said, you don't want this guy to be your top setup guy. I mean, you got to appreciate his attitude. He does pitch with a sense of ferocity. And I think maybe it was the game. Oh, against the Mets, actually, Subway Series, where he did pitch a good inning. He's literally dialed in, big yell after the inning. I think he ended it with a strikeout. I forget who he struck out, but nonetheless, I mean, he's a guy who I feel you can kind of like develop and maybe rely on. I mean, he's still, I guess he's 30 years old, huh? So he's been a while. He's been on a while.
I mean, he can be part of the bullpen, but I said I just think we need someone more reliable as a top setup guy. That's it.
No, yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I don't think this guy could. Yeah, I don't think he's that reliable.
Same thing with Tonkin. We need those guys to be 5th and 6th inning guys, not 7th and 8th. And so the only good takeaway from this game was the offense. We had talked about, tirelessly, what a struggle the offense has been. In this game, you had 14 hits, 7 runs. Judge had his 36th home run, Volpe his 8th, and Austin Wells his 8th. So Austin Wells has been on fire. I think they said the better part of a month, his OPS is around 900. So he's really been hitting it. 3 hits in this one. Gleyber Torres had 3 hits. Anthony Volpe with 2 hits. Oswaldo Cabrera also has been heating up. He had 2 hits. And then, Grisham had a hit as well. So that was a tough loss there on Friday. Really didn't think it boded well, for the rest of this series. But fortunately, the Yankees come back with a vengeance. A massive, Tony, as it seems. Okay, no, we're good now. A massive comeback win here on Saturday, 11-8. And this featured a pitching matchup of Marcus Stroman and Cutter Crawford. Stroman not even making it through 4 innings, giving up 9 hits, 5 runs. 3 of those runs were earned. Only 60 pitches. Crawford 4 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, 5 strikeouts. But this was just an absolute offensive showcase here. Soto and Judge with homers in the first gave the Yankees a 3-0 lead. But Red Sox tie up the game, and Abreu homer and a O'Neill double tie the game at 3. But then as well, the Cabrera with a crazy home run in the second. The Red Sox right fielder, was it Abreu? I think it might have been.
I think so, yeah.
Diving into the right field stands.
Oh, yeah.
Catches it, but then hits the bleachers and drops the ball. So that gave the Yankees a 4-3 lead, but the Red Sox unfortunately answered back with 2 more runs of their own. Duran single, Yoshida single. So they go up 5-4. No scoring next couple innings. And then the 5th inning, Aaron Judge with a single to score Alex Verdugo, tied the game at 5. But then Tyler O'Neill with a home run made it 6-5. Ben Rice tied the game with a sac fly to make it 6-6. But O'Neill homers again to make it 7-6. Billy Hamilton tacks on a double to make it 8-6. So at that point, you're thinking, we've blown a couple of leads. We've already scored 6 runs. Are we really going to come back and win this thing? But Judge with a double in the 8th made it 8-7. And then with 2 outs, 2 strikes, the type of blow up that we would have. It was nice to return the favor to the Red Sox here. Trent Grisham won with off the monster. Tyler O'Neill seemed to misread it. Seemed like he probably would have had a chance to make the play. It goes off the wall, ties the game at 8. And then in the 10th, Austin Wells with a sac fly made it 9-8. And then Gleyber Torres, the 2 more insurance runs there, a double, made it 11-8. And it's interesting in a game where you gave up 8 runs. Your bullpen really pitched well for the most part. Obviously, on the back end here, Clay Holmes getting the win, 2 scoreless innings. That was huge. Tommy Kahnle with another scoreless inning, so good to see that. Michael Tonkin, who had been so lights out, gives up 2 runs, only getting 1 out. And then Jake Cousins also giving up that home run to O'Neill. But it was nice to see Holmes get the job done there. The offense step up. And like I said, this is the type of win that other teams had against us. And you could really look back at this. I mean, and, obviously it was followed up on Sunday here. But this could be a turning point win of the season. And it was just really refreshing to see the Yankees not only swing the bats well these 2 games, but show that ability to battle back and ultimately never give up.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, dude. I mean, you want to talk about like a turnaround win that the Yankees really need. I mean, you're in Fenway. It's the Red Sox. Obviously, you're bringing in, an outside name like Jazz Chisholm. I mean, you want to make a significant impact. This was a comeback game. I mean, that's the type of energy, the type of vibe that you want to try and produce that could get this team out of the slump that we've seen, for so long here.
Yeah.
And I'm not, again, like a lot of people were saying, all right, like let's pump the brakes. There's a lot to be excited about, but like let's not forget what's been happening. Like you said, Brian, I mean, it is like that is that type of win. A lot of times it is like that game. It is a big win that does create a turning point for the season. And especially, a team like the Yankees that's been trying different things in terms of mixing up your bullpen guys, like trying to, change up your lineup, bringing in younger guys, seeing a team that they fielded, the first game against the Subway Series with guys you would never even see in the lineup typically. Finally, you're seeing them come out here, get this big win against a rival team. I mean, yeah, of course, dude, that is something to be pumped about. That is something to come in on a Monday morning and be like, yo, like I'm looking forward to the series. Like the rest of the year now, it just seems like things are being put in place for the Yankees to succeed. And it seems like that the team finally is also like buying into it. And not only that, but like starting to produce and like have fun doing it. I mean, like look at that dugout for the Yankees. I mean, they were having a great time,
having a great time. And how about just hitting the ball? It's just the at-bats have been so much better. And I've always said, I mean, you can't score, you can't win. And you have guys too that have been struggling, like Gleyber, like Anthony Volpe, like Alex Verdugo, who all of a sudden is kind of hit a hot streak himself. So you get production from others, and that's how you win games. And that's what they did last night, winning at Fenway Park for the first time against the Red Sox on Sunday Night Baseball since 2021. 8-2 here. Wow. So just a absolutely outstanding win. Carlos Rodon, second straight start, really stepped up. 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed in the 4th inning, back to Ref Snyder and Wong. Got you a little nervous at that point. It was 4-2. He had a runner on third, nobody out. Red Sox don't get that run in. No. That was very big for the trajectory of this game. And then Cousins and Ferguson combined to give you 2 2/3 scoreless innings, allowing 2 hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts out of the pen for the Yankees to win this game 8-2. Obviously, in a game where you score 8 runs, the offense is going. Judge a single in the right to score. Verdugo made it 1-0. Gleyber with a single to center, scoring Judge and Wells made it 3-0. Of course, Gleyber thrown out at second there, so an out on the bases. It seemed like he was trying to bait the throw to second. Still, it is always Gleyber on the bases, but obviously it was good at that point to get those 2 ribbies. Ben Rice made it 4-0 with a sac fly in the 4th. We mentioned the back-to-back home runs by Ref Snyder and Wong in the 4th inning to make it 4-2. But you had Wells with a sac fly to make it 5-2. Cabrera hitting a ground rule double to make it 7-2. And then even DJ LeMahieu, of all people, with the sac fly to right, scoring Jazz Chisholm, who had scored 3rd to get into scoring position there after stealing 3rd. So great to see Jazz, use his speed, get his first Yankee hit. You love to see that. And other than him, Verdugo 2 for 5, Judge with that RBI single 1 for 3. Wells 2 for 4, so he continues to produce in that cleanup spot. What a move. Taking Verdugo out of there, putting Wells there, and then obviously you'll have Stanton coming back tonight. So this lineup all of a sudden is looking great. Jazz 1 for 5 in his debut. Gleyber 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Rice 1 for 3 with an RBI. And then Volpe and Cabrera each with a hit. So Juan Soto, the only guy in the lineup without a hit, but did manage 2 walks. Yankees 62 up, 45 down with the Orioles win yesterday, remaining 1 game back of them. So they're right in the thick of things here, and on the precipice of a huge series against the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park.
Huge.
Starting tonight. Zach Wheeler opposed by Luis Keel. So that promises to be a great pitching matchup. So it's amazing. These back-to-back wins, and really this series as a whole offensively, 7 runs, 11 runs and 8 runs. I mean, that was really way more than you were expecting coming into this series. In the Red Sox, especially at Fenway Park, you haven't played well against them. So to win a series, and you were a bullpen implosion away from a sweep. So it's definitely just a lot better feel here. And I think it was like only the second time since the middle of June that they've won 2 games in a row. So
really?
You needed that. You got it. And I think help is on the way. Stanton coming back tonight. So it really has turned things around. And it's a great time right now. And obviously Jazz, I think that was a great move. You didn't give up much. Love that Wells is hitting too. That's getting me really excited because Yankee strong hitting catchers have always been a pedigree of our championship winning teams, and it seems like Wells is going to be our catcher for a while. So you love to see that. So it's all good. We'll see what happens tonight. The Mets with a great start to the weekend, Tony, but unfortunately unable to follow it up end up splitting the 4 games with the Braves.
Oh yeah, that's right. You said a good start to the weekend, everything. The win on Thursday, even though Brian was discounting it, all night. Jeff McNeil single, blah, blah, blah. But obviously, Friday was, game 2 of the series against the Braves on the 26th here. You had Kadai Senga, making his MLB debut, season debut, for on Friday. And listen, we'll get to it, but going into this game, super stoked. I was telling people, my fantasy team, it was like a big, again, you never know with a lot of these players, even specifically pitchers coming off of a long-term injury, coming in for start of the year. I was like, do I really want to start and bring him off my IL list? I have to put him in, drop somebody. So I ended up doing that. I think I ended up dropping, Tyone, put in Kadai here. And honestly, pitched really well. And let's get to the scoring first, honestly, before we get to Kadai, I suppose. Although I guess we'll be talking about Kadai right now. So let's go first inning here. Jared Kelenic up at first, leading off for the Braves. He strikes out swinging. Riley grounds out, hits Ozuna, but then strikes out Matt Olson here, looking, of course, using that forkball, which has been looking really good. His 4-seamer, he looked comfortable throwing that at 97. It was topping off at maybe 98, which is, again, around what he was pitching at last season, his first year in the league. So you love to see that out of him. Gets to the first inning pretty much unscathed. That hit by pitch for Ozuna, I think, was just maybe a little jittery. It was a first pitch fastball that just got away from him, hit Ozuna. So you're thinking nothing of it, dude. But we'll go to the top of the second here, where the Braves actually started the scoring off in this game. It was off a Duvall homer, actually, a 2-run blast. Rosario grounded into a fielder's choice here, early on in that inning. But Duvall here does take a cutter that just didn't cut enough, was kind of sitting over the middle of the plate. First pitch, jumped on it. 2-run blast, just like that. But after that, Kadai does settle down, which you love to see. So go top of the third, lead off walk to Kelenic, and you're thinking, all right, maybe a little bit of trouble here, but gets Riley to fly out, and then using that forkball, strikes out Ozuna and Olson. So, that forkball looked like it was having some great movement, sharp movement, kind of on the back end of his pitch, which is great. He's using that curveball a lot too. And again, the 4-seamer was located. So, again, he was pitching really well at that point. Through the first 3 innings, I think he had 5 strikeouts. So, looking really good. And then at that point, bottom of the third here, the Mets bat starts to go off. Charlie Morton was on the bump there. We know about him. Talk about a grizzled vet, Brian.
40 years old, young, right?
40 years old, young, that's for sure. Milford?
No, isn't he New Britain?
New Britain.
Either New Britain or New Haven.
Yeah, I think something like that. I forget what
For some reason, it might be New Haven.
I think you're right. I think it is New Haven.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, dude, the Connecticut product here for the Braves does get into some trouble here in the bottom of the third. A fielding error by Austin Riley gets Taylor safe at first right now. And then Morton hits Lindor. So you have runners on first and second, nobody out. And then Morton walks Nimmo. So you have bases juiced, nobody out. And let's go, J.D. Martinez, the grand salami, Brian, makes it 4-2 just like that. Morton is in a lot of trouble there. And that pitch was a 4-seamer that was a little low and away, probably not on the corner enough for Charlie Morton. And it was just, barrel to ball. That thing was gone right away. After that, Alonso grounds out, McNeil doubles, Vientos homers after that. So you have another 2-run dinger right there, makes it 6-2, just like we saw before after the grand slam. Iglesias grounds out, Alvarez up, homers himself, a solo shot for him, 409 feet off of a changeup that wasn't fooling anybody. Charlie Morton, just like that, into a lot of trouble, gets pulled. They bring in Hernandez. And just as we see so many often, it was like a first pitch fly out. But nonetheless, the damage was done. 7-2, just like that. Kadai in, top of the fourth. 3 up, 3 down. So after a 7-run inning, you get Kadai to come in, 3 up, 3 down. We're juiced up, all right? The dugout was juiced up for the Mets. They were so pumped for Kadai. Kadai was hyped, and I was hyped, all right? I'm like, Senga, let's go. This is our ace. It's freaking 8-2 right now. It's the Braves, phenomenal, and things are going great too. You even tag on another run in the bottom of the fourth. off of a Vientos walk, I think it was 8-2 right there. And unfortunately here, as we go to top of the 6th, we get Riley to pop out. And I guess it maybe was the Riley pop out. Because I think Kadai went to just go cover first after a hit, and just strained his calf immediately. Literally throws the pitch, sees the ball, and then goes to cover first and does like that quick pivot to go run. And you see him on that pivot foot, takes one step, goes down, insignificant pain, grabs his Achilles, or what looked like he grabbed his leg. So I immediately think, holy shit, torn Achilles. He's going to be probably out for the next year now. Thankfully, he got up on his own accord, ended up being a calf strain. Unfortunately, though, did have to come out of the game. They bring in freaking Orzi, who's a freaking bum, in my opinion.
Wait, but time out here. Isn't he out for the season?
Riley? Senga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, the way you said it, just strain cap, but I mean, it's a
it was again like
just
I was saying,
strain though. I would think it's partially torn if he's out for.
That's what it's labeled as. They just put him on, I think, on the 15-day IL, I think. But I mean, regardless, after the game, probably the worst news that I've heard in a while. Mendoza does say we're not going to see Senga for the rest of the regular season.
So crazy.
And
blink of an eye.
If we do, he says that if we're playing in October, we'll probably hopefully see him for then. And I mean,
notice he said if.
Well, yeah, of course, dude. Nothing's a certainty, dude. You don't want to be as cocky as a Yankees organization guy.
Or delusional.
Delusional is a good word as a Yankees organization guy. No, he's delusional. He's like,
Jesse Winger.
Oh my God, dude! Don't even get. We'll get to the fucking moves. All right, we'll get to the moves. But at this point, Brian, I mean, it's literally just like folded up, honestly, because I was so hyped again. Around this time we were talking about what the Mets can do at the deadline, and then you're thinking about how they're producing so well.
They're better off. They are.
They're not. They're not.
To trick yourself to think you have a chance this year to trade assets. You could put dressing on all you want. It's a short-sighted decision.
You could put dressing on anything you want, dude.
But you want to give up assets to go for it this year. You think that's a good idea?
I mean, it depends on what assets. Certainly, I mean,
one of the guys you got in the deals last year.
Like Acuna or Drew.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, dude. I mean, we spoke about them. It's tough. I mean, it depends on what return we're getting. And I mean, those are highly touted prospects. If we can get an established guy, maybe. I mean, it's tough because those guys are not doing well in the minors. We've been periodically peeking over at what they've been doing, and they haven't been producing great. And I mean, if they were, to be honest, Brian, they'd be in the fucking majors right now.
Yeah.
So, and again, I know they're super young, and you can give them a few years, but I mean, honestly, dude, like Kadai, 5 1/3, struck out 9 batters.
Yeah, no, he was looking good.
Like he was looking phenomenal, dude. Like literally, like he was looking as if he did not miss half the year. He was looking as if he was, gonna he was been in the Cy Young, honestly, contest the whole year. Like he was last season. End of the year, he was high in the Cy Young race. So it's like. It's what you expected to see, for the whole year from him. And I mean, if this guy was pitching for us, he's going to be winning us games. Like that's what he was looking like. And to see something like that, like in the blink of an eye, like you said, just go away and he's out for the rest of the regular season. I mean, that's completely taking the wind out of the sails of the Mets. And I mean, that was indicative for the next 2 games of this series. You go on to win this game 8-4. You hang on with the bullpen. I think Buteau gives you 3 innings here. I think I could be wrong. Maybe I was thinking a different game, but nonetheless, I mean, you score 8 runs against the Braves. Yes, it's Morton who's old, but he still pitches well. Yes, it's a team that is riddled with injuries, but it's the Braves. At a time this team was unbeatable. They're higher than you in the wild card race right now. They're obviously above you in the standings for the East here. So I mean, beating them was huge. You take the first 2 games, but this injury, like I said, it completely killed, I think, the vibe, the energy the team had, because you went on the next 2 games. You lose them both. You couldn't score a run for like 16 innings because you get shut out for the next day, I think 4-0. And then you lose whatever the hell. I think the last day was what, like 6-9, 8-2, 9-2.
I think 8-2.
Regardless, you get out pitched here. You get McGill to start on Saturday, who isn't good in my opinion. He hasn't earned himself a spot in the rotation. Peterson, I guess, has had some good spots too, but Sunday was not great from him. And and you lose both those games. The bats went absolutely cold here. And yeah, you're definitely a little worried. You expect the bats to bounce back, against Minnesota here today. But in terms of the weekend series, like you said, you win the first 2 games, you're riled, you're expecting 3 out of 4, you're looking for a sweep, and you drop the next 2. And I mean, it is like I think that injury to Senga was a complete momentum killer. And I think it affected the dugout. A lot of guys here. It definitely affected Mendoza. Hearing him on a post game conference, like he seems more disappointed than anyone. So it's super tough that injury affected the team like that. Atlanta, Schwellenbach over there pitched really well, and you get Lee, these 2 younger no name pitchers to be fooling batters. I mean, geez, I think. I think there was maybe 3 hits on Saturday and not many more on Sunday. That's for sure. So it's obviously tough there. You're still, the 3rd spot for the wild card. You're 5 games over. But again, I mean, I think after the second game of this series on Friday, you were looking at, jumping the Braves in the standings because they're not really doing much better than you at this point. But still, regardless, you want to stay positive in terms of the wild card. But then, you mentioned, Winker and whoever.
Really, that side of Winker? I mean,
yeah,
he's not terrible, dude. He's better than Stewart. He is.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, DFA, designating
you didn't give up anything big, did you?
No, you gave up no name guy. It doesn't even matter who you gave up, honestly.
It's not that,
it's not bad. But, I mean, Stewart obviously gone is great. That should have been, should have happened already.
Right.
But, Winker coming in here, again, he's good. He's not great. He's, I don't know, 31, 32, 30 years old. Former Red.
He's on my fantasy team in my 18-team league.
Obviously,
he's not that bad.
Played with, obviously Nationals here too. No, he's not bad.
Yeah.
But he's not like a guy you bring in who's like, this is sick. He's like,
right.
He's an older supplementary player where it's like, hey, if a team needs some, like a good pinch hitter or maybe a utility guy or a guy to go in if someone's injured for a little bit, that's your guy, But right now, like the Mets need more than that,
Mm-hmm.
And even the guy they brought over from, was it Tampa? That guy, what was his name? Shank? The reliever they brought in. No. But
they brought in someone else.
They brought in somebody else. Matone came over from Tampa Bay. Let's see. Mets. I forget his name. I think maybe from Pittsburgh. Pitcher.
Talking about the guy we just brought in?
Yeah, literally.
Stanek?
Ryan Stanek?
Yeah, Ryan Stanek they brought in.
Oh.
Which again, I mean, that guy, first of all, came in on Saturday, got popped. I think gave up 2 runs.
He was on Tampa as well, right?
He was on Tampa as well.
Yeah.
No. He came over from somewhere else, though. And maybe he was on Tampa at some point.
At one point, definitely.
I think he came from Seattle.
Well, it was Seattle, right? Because I'm seeing blue in my. I was gonna say, well, yeah, he came over from Seattle. Again, he's another guy too. He's like 33, I think. He's 33 years old. Not good, honestly. He's really not that great. I mean, his ERA right now is a tick below a 5. And I mean, as a reliever, he's hard throwing, which I guess is cool. But like, what the fuck, man? I mean, he's not a guy who comes in and he's gonna like help your. He's not gonna help our boat. He's just another guy. He's like another body to throw in there. I understand Nunez is on the IL for the next 15 days, pronator strain in his elbow, which is not good, honestly. He's one of your better bullpen pieces. Now he's having elbow problems. That's not great. And you bring in this guy Stanek and Winker to try and do, I don't know what Winker, yeah, he replaces DJ Stewart, but DJ Stewart sucks, dude. Like, he was terrible this year. Yes, I definitely argued for him last year, earning a roster spot, but I mean, it sucks, dude. These 2 pickups are not what you want to see. And honestly, I can't wait for the Yankees to fucking lose tonight, dude. I really can't wait.
I mean, listen.
No, because the more, honestly, dude, like you want to get me tight about this, and you want to think it's fun and games, but it's like,
but in all seriousness, though, this doesn't like trigger something in you to think like, is like what is about to happen? Have we seen this before? Is this happening again? Like, that thought hasn't crossed your mind?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, honestly, no, I mean, this is a little bit of a different scenario. I mean, I feel like, Stern seems to be operating this ball club as if he does have a World Series winning team already, which, I mean, he doesn't, and he's bringing this, again, like he's bringing this guy Stanek, he's bringing Winker, which are good, like, supplementary players, but we don't need that right now. We need, obviously, right now, we need to replace our ace for one. You need to replace a couple, better bullpen pieces than what Stanek can provide for us.
Yeah.
And then maybe I could be excited about bringing Winker. Maybe.
But I mean, knowing David Stearns, does it really surprise you? You really thought he was gonna like give up some valuable guys right now? Like he's that guy, you know what I mean, that tries to work with less and unheralded guys, and you know what I mean. He's not gonna be aggressive right now. If anything, he would trade somebody away, not give up assets to acquire somebody like big time.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense to bring in these guys. Like you, honestly, it's better off you do nothing or you do give up an asset to bring somebody in. Like
but it's a halfway approach, which is why you don't like it.
That's what I mean.
Think that's what it is, though.
But it's just
it's like, well, maybe.
I mean, it's not even halfway to me, though. No, it's futile.
Yeah,
like these moves, fruitless. Is his effort right now? Like it doesn't make any sense to me why he's doing this.
Yeah, well, but I'm saying not that you agree with it, but do you agree with me that his thought, it seems like anyway, is like, well, the team has played really well up besides these last two games. So there is a chance, maybe we make the playoffs, but I don't want to like mortgage the future. So I'm going to just acquire a couple like low-level guys and hope that gives us a little jolt. And we find ourselves in the playoffs. I would think, right? I mean, why else would he make these moves?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. But I mean, geez, dude. Again, that Stanek really pisses me off the most.
His ERA for his career is 3.47. I mean, he's not horrible, Tony. I know he got hammered. What, on Saturday was it?
Yeah, but I feel like he hasn't really been great since like before COVID. Just let me look him up here. So yeah, it was Saturday, by the way, he got hammered. So let's see here. Let's see. Standard pitching. So let's see. So far this year, we know about the 5 ERA. Last year, 55 games, 4.09 ERA with Houston.
Great the year before, which is interesting.
Great the year before, 59 games, 1.15 ERA
not
with Houston.
Horrible in 21.
2021, not horrible. And then COVID year, barely even pitched. And then before that, again, beginning of his year was okay, but then just, I don't know. Yeah. It just, like, what's the trend here?
Yeah.
Like, again, that great year in 22, which is like you're basically lights out. I mean, good job for Houston, I guess, there. But then, like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, you come in the next year with Houston. Again, not like you're blowing up all over the place, but you're not nearly as good as the 1.15 ERA you had over the course of a full season before that. And then, obviously, this year you followed up with an even worse year. And you're on a 1-year deal. Like, are we re-signing you next year? I don't think we should. I mean, at that point, like, what? I just don't know. Again, I guess you gave up nothing, but I mean, in my opinion, if you're looking for that low-level guy to make a jolt on your roster, like, this is not that guy even for that.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'm not really sure. And even Winker too. I mean, first of all, he's had problems with the Mets too. I understand. He seems like a guy. You can hit a bat. But I think it was last season, he gets a stare down, almost causes a fight with the Mets after a home run call. Like it's not good, I don't know, dude. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like a couple odd moves to me. And obviously I'm tight about the whole Senga thing going down. But you got Quintana tonight, it's the Twins.
Woods Richardson,
who I think had a good start his last time out.
ERA in the threes.
So I mean, I don't know. You expect the bats to bounce back. Hopefully, they kind of settle down, after the Kadai injury and could get some offense going. But yeah, I mean, you're obviously a little tight. You're still in the wild card race. You know what it is, Brian. You're just like, the tremendous run they went on.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, like Mendoza said, we didn't have Senga for that. We have just the team we have right now for that, and it's like. That run you're on, the reason why I was hyped is because you're thinking, okay, we are getting Senga. Like, we are getting our ace back. We
Mm-hmm.
are probably going to honestly get some better guys. And then Senga goes down. You bring in marginal guys. And it just seems like we're in the same spot where we are. So in my opinion, I mean, yes, you probably still make the wild card. You probably get that third spot. But then that's it. Like, you're probably going to lose in the wild card.
And that's not, a foregone conclusion. And I think the thing for me, and listen, I know no one's ever going to believe anything I say, but the Mets is automatic. Oh, I'm just always saying the worst, this and that.
Because you are.
But I think when we look back at this, and I know it's only been 2 games removed from the stretch that they're on, but I think the thing is, okay, yes, has Lindor proven that he still is, one of the best offensive shortstops in the league? Yes. But I think the thing that people were like kind of overlooking was the fact that you're getting contributions from other guys who, let's be real, really aren't that great, Tony. Like Francisco Alvarez has shown the signs that if he's healthy, he's going to be a star. But Alonso just seems like a guy in decline. Are you going to trade him? What are you going to do? Jeff McNeil, sure, yeah, he had a nice hot streak, but you really expected him to keep that up. I just think that's the thing. I think that there was this thought with Mets fans that there's more hitting there than there actually is. And a couple guys were going through hot stretches. That's why the offense is producing. But I think when push comes to shove at the end of the day, there's not enough offense there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean,
who do you, but besides the two guys I said, who are you? I mean, you want to throw Nimmo in there?
I'll throw Nimmo
what
in
about
there.
the other 6 guys?
I'll throw Vientos. I love the way Martinez has been hitting too. I mean,
Martinez has been okay though. If you look at his numbers, they're not like amazing. Like he's just been like somewhat steady. I think he's hitting like 250, 260.
I mean, but that's exactly what you want from him. I mean, he's not only is he hitting steadily, 262 is his batting average now. He's got 11 dingers. Obviously, that huge grand slam. I mean, he comes in and he's that veteran guy. I mean, he hits in the clutch. He's a great DH in my opinion. He's exactly what you wanted out of him coming into this year. Slugging 444. 44 RBIs this year, 11 home runs, 73 hits. I mean, pretty solid, dude. I mean, I would think for him, I mean, I would put him as like if he's up and there's 2 outs, like I'm thinking we have a chance here, So I don't know. I think that there are good hitters. Yes, I understand Taylor hasn't been great. Again, clutch hits from him, but that's really about it. Iglesias has been certainly playing above his own breaches. But nonetheless, I mean, that guy, forced his way into a starting role at second base. Like you got to appreciate the guy. I mean, and you would imagine, I mean, that level of play has been continuing for more than 2 months now. So, I mean, I think you would still expect a lot from him, and I think you still would get a lot out of Iglesias. I would expect him to continue to be in the running on being that utility guy or a great pinch hitter. And I mean, McNeil is obviously up in the air for me.
McNeil sucks. They had a couple good, a good stretch, but he's overall it's not good. And then you mentioned JD. I mean, just to give you some context here, from last year, which he hit 33 home runs, 103. This year, his average is down 9 points. Mm-hmm. His slugging is down 129 points, and his OPS is down 108 points. So I just think I don't know if he's exactly trending, in the right direction. Is going to be like a force. Like when I'm talking about the guys in the lineup, I'm talking like a force. Iglesias, same thing. I mean, he's been around a while. It just seems to me like it's more guys like caught hot at the same time. You want to say Vientos. Vientos had a great year, but I mean, he also hasn't proven that he could produce for a full season. So that's why I just think, everybody was just looking at the results and getting very excited. But I just think maybe the expectations should be tempered a little bit because I just think they were getting a little carried away. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. I think maybe
of course everybody likes their team to win. They're going to get excited, but I'm just saying you just had to look at the roster, like to think like because I really feel like a lot of people throughout this hot streak, I believe, like just with the team that they have, they're special. They could win it all. Like literally, that's how Dan Grasso was talking last week, and it's just like I feel like that's a little ridiculous.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've seen some pretty crazy rosters make it to the World Series. I'm not going to sit here and say that I expected the Mets to. But again, I mean, I still think this lineup tonight, against the Twins, they could score 8 runs. I think easily they could score 8 runs. Honestly, they have power. They have a lot of runners who can hit for contact. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you see how the Mets win these games. It is a lot of clutch hitting. It is a lot of, innings where they get multiple runners on and they bring multiple runners in off of singles, off of situational hitting. And then you get like your power bats like Alvarez Lindor to hit those dingers. I don't know. I think that the bats here have been very talented. And again, I mean, that's, I think, talented enough to warrant like, hey, we can make the playoffs and possibly do something, again, I mean, I think that this team, if you did have, your ace, maybe a couple deadline acquisitions, I don't think it'd be crazy to say that this team could make it past, a wild card round. And again, I mean, we've seen it before where a team, with, mid to low 80s in the win column end up going to the World Series or at least making a splash in the postseason. And I mean, at the end of the day, without mortgaging your future, I think the Mets could have done that. I mean, that's why you brought in Stearns, though, because he is supposed to be this baseball mind that could bring in guys that are going to do well for you. And I mean, that was the hope. That was what was supposed to be. Obviously, this weekend has been the exact opposite. I think it's going to be very interesting to see, what the Mets could do as the deadline is obviously practically here. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Stearns is going to be done. I would be very surprised if he doesn't make any more moves, to be honest. What those moves are going to be, I don't really know, to be honest, at this point. But I mean, I guess time will tell. I mean, I still think that Alonso's on the table. It's interesting because I'm really not hearing, I don't know about you guys, but I haven't heard any rumblings.
I'm telling you, my prediction here is that very little is done. Maybe a couple additions. I don't think they're trading anybody away. I think because of that hot streak, they want to just see what this group can do. That's just kind of my thought. I don't think that's the right move, but I just think that's what they're going to end up doing.
Yeah, I guess so. But see, that's so stupid, though. Right? Because, again, like what I just explained, you're thinking ace comes back, bringing some guys, let's go. Well, you lost your ace now, and I don't really think you have a shot at getting past the wild card spot. So it's like, why not just dump these players?
Yeah.
Like, why not dump Taylor and Iglesias and try to get younger prospects in at that point? Guys that you could see, guys that you could put in right now to see how they could perform. And especially bring up the farm at that point. Just sell everyone you can. And get rid of Alonso, get rid of JD. Get rid of anyone you can. Get rid of Sevy at that point. Like, get rid of everyone and then bring up the farm and see what they can do and then reassess for next year. Instead, you can hold on to these guys that you're probably not going to re-sign. And if you do, it's probably a done move. Like, I don't want to see Taylor and Iglesias out here again next year because they're not. Like, their run is not sustainable. These guys aren't great. It's a flash in the pan for this year right now. They're probably finishing out the year good. Like I said, I still think this team's making the wild card. But, I mean, I think it should be one way or the other. It doesn't make any sense to limp your way through this deadline by, bringing in, mediocre guys, hoping that they're going to do well. That makes no sense. Like this, I don't know. It's not what World Series are built upon. Hopes. All right. It's built upon like actual, like great strategic moves that bring in necessary guys that your team's needs and who can perform well. I mean, it's not like, let's bring in freaking Stanek and hope he just kind of does well that 1 year, 2 years ago, maybe. And honestly, at the end of the day, like, what is that one bullpen guy going to do for you? He's going to replace an injured Nunez. Doesn't improve anything. He just fills in a hole that was just started because of an injury. You didn't even progress. Winker for DJ Stewart doesn't do anything.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. So they're kind of caught in between. And I kind of figured when they started winning that was going to kind of be the deal. I mean, we'll see what they do between the trade deadline, tomorrow and now and tomorrow. But for right now, it's a question of, can they beat Minnesota tonight at home? So let's see what happens in a full-on abbreviated baseball frenzy.
All right. It's a frenzy. It's always like when the Mets do bad, you gotta rile me up. I'm not so pumped for the frenzy. But nonetheless, dude. Matthew Ryan's texting me. They won't even win 80 games, he says.
Matthew Ryan.
Well, let's fucking start it up, all right? It's a new week. It's a new frenzy here, all right? It's a post-Tony's birthday frenzy, all right? And it's the freaking 29th deadline. Let's go 7:10 p.m. You have the Mets taking on the Twins. The first game of this 3-game set, the Twins 58-46. I mentioned the Mets 5 games above 500. Our very own Zachary Seymour will be in attendance tonight.
Wow.
Who knows what will come? His third game of the year, his third time seeing Jose Quintana start.
I feel bad.
Which is kind of crazy here. I'm debating picking him up on my fantasy team. Honestly,
I wouldn't.
I don't know. You never know.
I don't know. Things are crumbling there too, Tony. But third place though?
Woods Richardson here getting the start on the bump. You want to look at the line here. The Mets are the Mets are, doesn't even tell you what we are actually. Yes, what the fuck? Over, under, where are we, dude? What the hell? ESPN's totally blowing it for me. Do they not have? I guess maybe just the line isn't. That doesn't make any sense, dude. Doesn't even matter. I don't have a line here. You have a line? Am I losing it, dude?
I think. Let's see. So the Mets. The line here is not out.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe there's some big tricks.
All right, something's really fishy here. It doesn't even matter. Let's go. Back at home, Quintana, 7 innings. We've seen it before. And in the last few starts, kind of rocky. We've seen it of him. Maybe 7 innings, limping his way through, 2 earned runs, maybe 5 Ks. We know how he plays. Doesn't really matter. Bats are hot. I mentioned the big names. Alvarez is going to be hot. Vientos, let's go indoor. Maybe his 23rd, I think, dinger of the year. Let's freaking go, dude. I say Mets win this game. Woods Richardson popped. Their bullpen sucks. Okay, dude? Let's go Mets here. I say they win 8-3, 8-4 maybe, and I'm sure that's the over at this point. So give me Mets in the over, game 1 of the whole week. Let's go, Brian. What do you got?
All right, the Yankees, game 1 here against the Phillies. I mentioned Heel versus Wheeler. I think this will be a pitching duel. Obviously, both offenses have been good lately. Obviously, the Phillies, really all season best record in the league. I just think this is going to come down to a battle of the bullpens. And the Phillies bullpen has been a little banged up. They did add Carlos Esteves from the Angels. That's a big move. But I think in this game, we're going to see after 6, 2-2 into the bullpen. And I think what's going to happen here is Alvarado, who was their closer, comes in to get Soto. He hits a 3-run homer, give the Yankees a 5-2 lead, and ultimately that is the difference in the game. So the Yankees win their 3rd straight here. It's the Yankees, and it's the under.
All right, let's freaking go here. Next game, we're going to St. Louis as the Cardinals start their series against the Texas Rangers here. Rangers just got swept by the Blue Jays, so I'm looking for a bounce-back game from them, starting with Nathan Eovaldi here on the bump, 7-4, 3.31 ERA. Despite the Rangers' woes this season, Nathan has been still a bright spot all year long. Super impressed, honestly, how he's been pitching for Texas past couple of years. Marcus Semien, though, on my fantasy team, is on a 7-game hit streak right now. I expect more production out of him from the Rangers lineup. Even Heim's been all right, too. Corey Seager has been waiting for his 20th home run for quite some time now. I say they break this losing game streak on his coattails. Here, give me a dinger from him. I think Eovaldi pitches, maybe 6 shutout innings, perhaps, against this lowly Cardinals team. Cardinals are favored. Oh, sorry, they're underdogs here. Rangers are minus 125. The total says off. I don't know why. What the hell is going on with the ESPN bet? But nonetheless, not getting the numbers here. Give me the Rangers here. I say they win by the tune of maybe 4-1, 4-2. So give me Rangers and the under here, Brian.
All right. So for my next selection here, I'm going to go with game 1 between the Blue Jays and the Orioles. You got Zach Eflin up against, is it Yasiel Rodriguez, if I'm not mistaken, or it's Yariel? 1-3, 3.69. Eflin 5-7, 4.09. Always thought Zach Eflin sucks. So for that reason alone,
I'm out.
I'm gonna say the Blue Jays will take game 1 here. I'm gonna say by the score of 4-1. I know the Orioles took the ball yesterday against the Padres.
Yeah.
But offensively, they've been struggling. So give me the Blue Jays and the under.
Very interesting take there. 3rd game, next game, last game. I guess I'm going to go with the Cubs. Yeah, give me the Cubs here. They're playing the Reds. Jameson Taillon on the bump there. 7-5 so far, 2.96 ERA. Picked him up for my fantasy team last week, I think, against Milwaukee. Ended up dropping him, but pitched very well for me. I think 7 innings, maybe get up 2 earned runs. He's pitching well as of late. Kind of tough Cubs. Morel got traded, I think, right?
Morel for Paredes.
That's right. Morel for Paredes. It was kind of crazy that Morel got traded, but obviously for the Cubs here. And so because of that, they do get another dub here. Jameson pitching out a full game shutout, Brian. Cubs win 3-0. Cubs in the under.
Next game, last game, final game here, Tony. I am going to look at the matchup between the Houston Astros and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And normally, you'd say, all right, I mean, Astros probably the better team.
Yep.
But they have the task of facing Mr. Paul Skeens, has been electric in his rookie year, 6-1, 1.93. I'm going to say Skeens here. It's 7 innings, it's 15 strikeouts, and it's only 1 earned run. The Pirates, virtue of an O'Neal Cruz 5th inning grand slam, win 4-1. So it's the Pirates and it's the under. And just like that, that is your baseball frenzy.
And what a great frenzy it is to start the week, dude. Paul Skeens. Oh, man. Wouldn't it be nice to have him on your team, Brian?
Oh, my God, yeah.
I mean, geez, I'm looking at his 1.93 ERA, 6-1. We just got handed his first loss. We were talking about it last week. Tremendous story for Skeens, dude.
Yeah. Was at LSU last year.
Yeah.
And here he is in the major leagues, started the All-Star game. Talk about a career trajectory. And you say, pitching for my team or our teams. I mean, that might be the case in a couple of years because people have already started talking about that. The Pirates don't give out big contracts, let alone mega deals. You can only imagine the price for pitching once Paul Skeens is a free agent. But for now, Pittsburgh will enjoy him. And, they're a team, I think, Tony, to watch out for. You mentioned that third wild card spot. I would not be surprised if they played their way into the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're 2 games back from a spot right now. And again, they're battling teams like the Cardinals, like the Mets, like the Padres, teams whose destinies are certainly still up in the air. And I mean, Padres, they've been on a little streak right now. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're a team that's been, battling to be around 500 all year long, basically. So it should be interesting to see. I definitely didn't expect their uptick in play, to be honest. And I would think that they taper a little bit. So I think that would open up a spot for the Pirates. But I guess we'll see that race right there for that third spot. Honestly, for all the spots of the wild card is super tight. All these teams 56, 57, 55 wins. So I mean, I think that wild card spot is going to be an absolute race down to the last game.
Yeah, and it's really going to come down to what happens at the trade deadline, which is rapidly approaching. I mean, I guess you could say, because I believe it's 4 Eastern, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow.
Do you think Pittsburgh picks up any? I mean,
wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Yeah,
would not be surprised whether it's bullpen help, maybe another bat in the lineup. Maybe they want Gleyber Torres. Who knows?
I don't know.
You never know.
That's true.
You never know.
Skeens Torres straight up. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so I'm sure by the time we go live tomorrow, there's going to be a ton of deals to break down. And possibly might break during the show tomorrow. So
that would be sick.
Let's see what happens. But here we are. What a great post Bar A show.
So much
almost setting a viewing record, it looks like. So a lot of people with us today. Shout out to all of you guys on Twitter coming out in numbers today. So we love to see that. And we appreciate everybody who tuned in and continues to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives on the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jay in costume, the merch at downtimetv.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games. Let's go Yankees.
Let's go Mets.
And we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.